This daf Chav Zayin of the daf Yerushalmi Berachos. And in order to start, we're going to do from the bottom of the daf Chav Vav on base. You should not have a type of coin, anything similar to a coin. In this case, in some cases in Shas, Nasimon is not a coin. But if Nasimon has significance, then it's like a matbea that you can't hold in your hand because you're going to be concerned with it. And then it says, in front of you, it's forbidden. Behind you, it's permitted. So the Charedim says, "Lo garsin kan achol lefanav." He doesn't. He takes his the whole thing out. The Moshe says, if it's in front of you, it's if you're davening and the coin is in front of you, it's also because you're looking at it. You're not going to be focused. If it's behind you, it's mutter because that it's going to you're not going to pay attention. But that's the next line is that difficult because then it says Rabbi Yasa Hayat Soron, he wrapped them up v'tov sabiyado and he will hold them in his hand. And so that's the case. We just said the front of is also. So you could say if it's Sorim, it's different. But the Shari Torah starts to show us a novel approach here. Shari Torah says that really it should have said, it should say, in line with the next line, it should say that this line where he says is relevant per Gimel Halacha Hey, not over here. And there, it's properly front of Asur Lachar Mutter. Here it should be Lachar Asur the front of Mutter. In other words, if it's behind you, it's no good because you're going to be worried that somebody's going to grab it from behind you. It's going to fall or whatever. But if you have it, it's mutter because you see it and you're conscious, especially if it's in your hand, you're conscious of its presence in your hand. And the Shari Torah has a riches here. He talks about why we find so many times in the Yerushalmi, much more in the Bavli, that something is brought down and the first will tell you, it's placed is really somewhere else, not here. It just came here by because a greira or a shitfa is languages to use. And he brings out several reasons that why this happened in Yerushalmi more than the Bavli. And one of them is he says that I'm not going to go into all the reasons he gives, but he says that it's well known that initially the Chachamim would say the Gemara Baal Peh, and both Talmud Yerushalmi and Talmud Bavli. When they started writing it down, both of them down, the sofer would sit in front of a Chacham, and the Chacham would say the Gemara verbally, Baal Peh, and the sofer would write down on the book with ink. And since the Chacham was saying about Peh, and he had a certain hergel, a certain habituation in the way things were memorized by him, so it's happened many times that because since the Inyanim were comparable, Inyanim were very similar, the sugyas were very similar, so he would slip into the other sugya or bring down something from another sugya which is not relevant here, and that way you would have something in a place which is not supposed to be, or something which is inaccurate where it is, we might be accurate somewhere else, something which is not relevant. And the sofer, he didn't know, he was just a scribe, so he wasn't medactic in this. He wrote everything he heard is the Chacham would hear from the Chacham. And we find such a thing before in Halacha Dalet, Hashikras Lashon. And the Rav Chisda says, even the Mishnah is a Shikras Lashon. And the Rabbeinu Tam writes also this in Taisus Daf Chav Rav Tibur Maskeh Uktanim. Why does the Tana mention Ketanim with together with Noshav Avodim if they're not the same halacha? Says the case because that was the Derech Tana L'Shanas Yachad Noshav Avodim Ketanim. That's you slip into that standard formula. And there are several other points. He brings up many places, I should say, where this is the where this probably happened. I mean, where it's something obvious, something not so obvious. And then he says, why is there so few in the Bavli and so many in Yerushalmi? Because Talmud Bavli was always learned in the yeshivas in the Bavel, and the Mei Chacham involved in every generation with great diligence and a lot of give and take. And when they found things which were superfluous because of the shikfa and the riyata, they took them from the place and they removed them or fixed them as necessary. So only relatively few which are left. But Chachamim involved with the Yerushalmi in every generation were very few. And those who were involved with it, they didn't involve themselves to the same extent as the Bavli. And therefore we have all the riyatos and shitfos as which are left intact in the Yerushalmi, which in the Bavli we wouldn't find. The Mashbiach gives a different shot. The Gemara here says concern is that you're going to be torrid of them by the money, of course, but there's also a problem of the tzura on the money, the tzura on the money, which is unless it was a Jewish coin, it had usually some a king, some idol behind the coin. So therefore, if that's the concern from that perspective, la'acharab, it's okay because you don't see the coin in the front of it's not okay because you see the tzura in the coin. But then if you have it tzurin, right, that you actually have it wrapped up, so then it wouldn't be a problem. Because wrapped up, obviously you don't see the even if it's in front of you, you don't see actually the tzura of the coin. Going further, midas hadin, and the Yerushalmi almost always means choshen mishpat. When it comes to choshen mishpat, what's the halacha to the din of shmira, that you have to safeguard money if you got it for as a bikadon? So the halacha is that you have to hold it in front of you, similar to what Rabbi Asa did. Rabbi Yitzchak says, "V'tzarta kesef biyodecha." You have to wrap the money in your hand. Bilvad biyodecha. You have to be specifically in your hand, and that is transporting money. Obviously, if you're at home, you can put there many different things. The Gemara says, put it in the ground, put it in the roof, ceiling, put it in the ground. They have to change it sometimes because of the Ramoim. But when you're traveling, if you have money for Bikon, it has to be tzurin in front of you. Rabbi Yossi Vun Horil Rabbi Hillel Chasnei Kain. Yossi passed this way for his son-in-law Rabbi Hillel. Rabbi Chizkiah, Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha, Havu Yasmin. By the way, there are very few Rabbi Hillels. Rabbi Hillel, this may be the Hillel Hasheni, which made the calendar. Which case Rabbi Yossi Rabun was his father-in-law. Okay, maybe. No. I'm not so familiar with the Amoraim and the Yerushalmi. Could be there are a few. Rabbi Chizkiah, Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha, Havu Yosifin, they were sitting b'chad asar in one place. Have a gabay, Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha, Pritim. He had some money with him. Asas were into the slow, so the time of Daman came. The Sharsun, he wrapped them up. V'yavun, and he gave them. Now here the Shai Torah has different girsa, which means down. L'shamei the Rabbi Chizkiah, not Rabbi Chizkiah himself, right? He gave the Rabbi Chizkiah shamish. Kata purte lepurte. He wrapped them further. Shartun barak, and he. Moshe says, "Tzara hate rutzua arka rutzua milosha arka so the misano." He wrapped them even more, but he then actually didn't hold on to it. The way the Shai Torah so explains it, that he wrapped them and gave them the Shamei Chizkiah. The way he says shartun actually doesn't mean to wrap, right? As the Pei Moshe interprets it, shartun is a synonym for latir, to shari, right? Mutter. So where he explains it is that Rabbi Yaakov Racha, he untied the knot which is holding the money to his clothing, and he gave it to Rabbi Chizkiah's misharis. I'm sure he knows it's the misharis. Maybe there's some indication later on. I don't think so. Not sure where it has to say it's misharis. Why can't it just be him himself? Be that as it may, kata purte lepurte. So he tied his own his own garment to the garment of the shamish in order that he shouldn't run away with the money. So what did the shamish do? The shorts and barak. he untied the connection still to Rabbi Yaakov Barachos again. Yaakov Barachos' garment, and he ran away. Amalei ma biyadcha. So Rabbi Yaakov Barachos, I don't know if he got the money back or not, but he asked Rabbi Chizkiah, so what's the story? So evidently, Rabbi Chizkiah is the one who's saying, Rabbi Chanina. I guess I should do the shamash. It's Rabbi Chizkiah. Yeah, and should shamash so he can say still be talking to Rabbi Chizkiah. In other words, after the shamash ran away. So Rabbi Chizkiah, Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina, Am mishayu meimov al ktefo, meimov al ktefo, hareza kori eshma mispalo. So actually, somebody who has his water on his shoulder, he can read Shema that way, and he could say daven that way as well. So this is talking about mechatos, and evidently mechatos, the can't be mesir das from mitzvahs pnei Moshe. And therefore, if you are holding mechatos, it's b'diavad, you're allowed to daven holding the mechatos. So too, you should not give up the money which you were given, which you want to keep safe, and give it to somebody else to hold because you're being mesir das. If it's somebody else's money, it's pshia, and if it's your own money, obviously you don't have to lose the money in order to daven. So we do like Rabbi Asa and wrap them up and hold them in your hand. Now, there are many, many other different interpretations of this Gemara. Moshe, the Charedim, Shbiach, I'm sure ain't sof. But the point is that according to some of them, Rabbi China is a new statement. That it's not, Amalei ma biyadach, even though normally that means, what do you have to say about this? But Charedim tries to explain why here means something else, and this way here might mean something else. In which case, Rabbi Chanina would not be. It's not Rabbi Chizkiah quoting Rabbi Chanina's response, but Rabbi Chanina's is a separate halacha. Okay, Rav Chuna Amar Kriya Shema Tefillah Einon Tzrichas Kavana. Rav Chuna made this radical remark that to Kriya Shema Tefillah does not require Kavana. So Rabbi Mona Kashis Pinchas. I asked him from Pinchas. I feel Tema. If you're going to say, Kriya Shema Tzricha Kavana, Kriya Shema needs Kavana, Tefillah Eina Tzricha Kavana. Tefillah does not require Kavana. Now, this is a very, very difficult to understand. So, the way the Gra changes the gears to sliding Rav Chuna, he says that it's supposed to be Rav Chuna Amar. Hadamra Kriya Shema Tefillah Ein Tzricha Kavana. He adds the word Hadah. So he's going back to Rabbi Chanina's statement, which seems to indicate that Rabbi Chanina was not. His name was not what Rabbi Chizkiah responded. I want to go back therefore and say if Mabi Yadach is the end of the sugya, so then what it means is that Mabi Yadach literally not what did you hold, what did you think, what's your opinion, but rather he said Mabi Yadach means he's saying to him Rabbi Chizkiah is saying to him, what are you holding on to? In other words, you lost your money. It's something that's you should have held on to the money in your hand. Okay, be that as it may. So again, the Gra changes to Rav Chuna to Rav Chuna the Dam Ara Kriya Shema Tefillah Ein Tzricha Kavana, because if you're carrying the mechatos on your shoulder, which don't allow Pesach Hadas, how can you say Kriya Shema Tefillah requires Kavana? So I had this question. I asked for Pinchas, and say in the way they change the gear, several portion change the gear. So you can do without changing the gears too, but you can say it's easier to change the gears. So but I feel Tema Kriya Shema Ein Tzricha Kavana. Feel Ein Tzricha Kavana. Even say Shema doesn't require Kavana, meaning, and this you can read it as it says. It's just a little bit more difficult. Kriya Shema only is one pasuk. So okay, perhaps you can get through it one pasuk, and that's not considered Hesed Chadas from the Mechatos. But Tefillah requires Kabbalah at least for the whole first bracha, so that it should be Hesed Chadas, right? So Rabbi Yossi, so why are you allowed Manav Shach? Why should you allowed to have if you're having the water, show you can't have proper Kavanah. If you have proper Kavanah, you should have the water, you have problem Hesed Chadas. So Rabbi Yossi Kiyamte, I sustained the statement of Rabbi Chanina. So he says that evidently that this you see that you don't have that Melech Samayim does not require you to have full focus in on constant basis, and therefore it can be makel over here. The Charedim elaborates a bit, and he says that this is going on somebody's can make chatas after you put the Efer Por into it. That and then Hesed Chadas does not possibly make a din. It only passes Hesed Chadas from the time you draw the water until you put the Efer into it. Afterwards, Hesed Chadas is not an issue. There are other interpretations here, obviously, of course, including the Meiri, who says it really doesn't have anything to do with Meipara. But I think we'll go with the interpretation of the Charedim. And let's go on to the similar thing, Yeah, okay. So let's go on to the Mishnah. Halach above. Chasam Pratim Kriya Shema. The Chasam is then from Kriya Shema. Laila Rishon, the first night after Chasna, on Motzei Shabbos until Motzei Shabbos, Imlo Samaisa, even there have relations. Ma'aser Gamliel Shinoso is the story that they got married. But Kol Laila Rishon, he read Shema the first night after he got married. Amar Tamid said, "L'naton Rabbeinu Chasam Poter." He told him that Chasam is exempt from Krishma. I'm not listening to you to battle for myself. The mitzvah of Kabbalah Shemaim of Shema, even 1 hour. Okay, so it says Gemara, Rabbi Elazar ben Antigonus, B'Shem Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Yanai. And we have this in Bavli as well. Since you're posted till Friday night, must be you can do the first Bila on Friday night. Rabbi Chagai kum Rabbi Yossi tipata amonoshen chabura. He says no. Maybe it's talking about a widow who's already had been married before, and therefore there's no issue. What would be the issue of having beyond Shabbos, which Gemara discusses a couple of places, that you're making a wound, and you're not allowed to make a wound by breaking the psulim. You make a wound and now make a wound on Shabbos. So maybe it's talking about here where it's a widow, and the widow's no issue of chabura. He says, can't, no, because it says that Arba Leilos. He says you give the 4 nights for the Bilas mitzvah, and they include Shabbos, and the 4 nights have to do with Dam Basulim. That's he says here. In the Moshe, I'm over here. Hatninan Arbalelos come out Nihilam as decent automatically say maybe our mission to be Amona. We'll keep the Amona. Masisa Nida, Michael and Mary, we're going to do the mission Nida. The Tina also says the Reish Pertino, because him hears Manly Rose. If she already is of age, she can do the Sidam Nida. Come based on Noisla Motzei Shabbos Arbalelos. She has 4 nights until Motzei Shabbos. Litlos with Damsun to assume that it's from the Psulim. 4 nights don't have anything to do with Amona. 4 nights have to do with how long you can assume it's Dam Basulim. And since we can still assume it's Dam Basulim coming out on Shabbos, it must be that you're allowed to produce Dam Basulim on Shabbos. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Zavde Kashisi Kum Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yaakov Zavde said, I had a question. Ask Rabbi Yossi. Ma ben Elabein Shovar Chavis Lechom Mano Grovros. why is making psulim a problem in halacha? It's like breaking and we rely on this text all the time, like breaking a jug in order to get from dates from inside it. We obviously this is the basis of the heter of opening containers on Shabbos in order to get the food inside. So here too, he's not. What's the difference that he's breaking? He's not. He's just breaking, and breaking kilkul for in order to get to something which is lutzorech inside is mutter. So the Zalman says that any plastic container which you have around anything which is tzorech Shabbos, not just food, you can break it open on Shabbos. So Shabbos kilchasa. So what is this different? Some he said Amalei more basra. Yeah, but here it's different because look at what it says after that. It says in the Masechah Shabbos, "Uvachli is kavin lasos kli." That's only if you don't have mind to make that jug or that other thing you're breaking into a vessel. You're breaking it into a vessel, so then it's a problem. And so, for example, to me it's a mystery why certain types of containers which hold milk or creamer, they have this thing, orange juice. They have this plug which you can pull up and remove it from the inside the spout, and you're making keli, not the container. It was ready keli, the spout. Making the spout a keli couldn't be used before. Now it's a spout. There are many poskim of matir that I'm not sure exactly why, but any event. Here, well, what's the kavanah to make a keli? The kanchi miskaven la sosa, but bu'ula k'moshe miskaven la sosa keli. So here where she's trying to make her into bu'ula, so it's similar to making it into a keli. In other words, you want to make sure that the passage is free of obstacles. So therefore, it would be a problem here as if you're making a keli. So the Charedim, by the way, if you look at the Charedim, he brings down here that actually I should mention this. It's the Ran who says Mekalkal is Mutul Tzorech Shabbos. That's the Ran which we rely on. And any other cases except which are extrapolated from Shover Chavis. And the Charedim then says also about the Keli, and in the art scroll, I think there's some part of the Charedim missing because it ends, the page ends here. And then the next page, it says Higyucha, which it's not what the Charedim has next. Oh no, of course it says that. No, it's art scroll. Look at the same page. That's why. Because in that, never mind. It says in the Chav Zayin, Chav Chesanav, Ein Isha Karesas Bris and Misha Saw Keli. Right, so that we know that there is some sort of mystical, psychological, whatever thing that woman is the woman's relationship is consummated by her being made into a keli, and evidently that's also part of the breaking the basulim is to make the woman into a keli, which means that she is now somebody who is committed to relations with her husband. So therefore, that's the premise why it should be usher to have relations with a basulim on Shabbos. But then Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Mishra Omakshi, he I'm not sure the word how the word got in there, but he asked the question, Mursa b'Shabbos. You're allowed to pop a blister on Shabbos. Why can't you pop the psulim? More basra. Look, because what next day it says, actually skavin la sosa pen. It's that's only if you have mind to make an opening. Kamskavin, you have mind to make an opening, right? So shumiskavin la sosa buula. So he has a mind to make her buula. Kami shumiskavin la sosa keli. It's like who have a mind to make a keli. In other words, that here it is actually a. It's not. It's like mapis mursa in order to make it you have mind to make a keli, which is also. So we'll see tomorrow, Mir Hashem, how the Gemara concludes. In the meantime, we don't know what heter is necessarily.